Welcome to the Hudson Show. Coming up, is a taco a sandwich also a new change that might ruin video games? All that and more on the way next. Welcome to the Hudson Show from RadioU. A great ep on the way for you. Even extra bonus content on top of what we normally do here, because at the tail end of the podcast, NayNay and I react to the Packers and Cowboys NFL schedules, and you'll hear me and him elsewhere in the podcast react to the NFL schedule release as a whole, but particularly at the end, you're going to want to stick around for something that's only here in the Hudson Show podcast. I'll start with this, though, and I'll keep it short. Cannes Film Festival going on. Chris Hemsworth just said what so many people have been thinking for years at Cannes Film Festival, and that is the standing ovation tradition is really awkward and weird. If you don't know, at Cannes Film Festival, when films premiere, it's tradition, usually at the end, everybody in the theater will get up and clap and give a standing ovation, and the longer the ovation, supposedly the better the movie is. So somebody in there is like, gotta have a timer watching how long these ovations go, and it's like, no, you have to cheer longer because this movie is definitely better than that movie, so we've got to keep this going. We got to make sure we set a record here. And meanwhile, even Chris Hemsworth, the reason this came up is because he's in the new Furiosa Mad Max movie, and that got a big, long-standing ovation at Cannes Film Festival. And he said when you're there as an actor, you are expected to stand and clap too for your very own movie, which is pretty... it's all just awkward. How many people still have to be clapping for it to count as a standing ovation, like for the timer to keep running? I don't know. There's so many questions. And really, at the end of the day, it's just awkward. Can you imagine, even for 5 minutes, standing and clapping for anything in life that you'd be that excited about? Probably not a whole lot of anything. So I'm glad he said it. Somebody had to. Great episode on the way. Enjoy. It's the Hudson Show. Saw this, that EA, the video game company, is talking about something that I cannot believe hasn't happened until now, and that is they are talking about putting ads in video games. They are actually actively prototyping what that would look like as we speak. And this is the type of thing that nobody that's buying a video game, that's playing a video game, is going to cheer for this. It's not for us. It's not for you and me. We're not going to be excited about it. Obviously, though, EA, it's a way for them to make more money. And it's also one of those things that no matter how much we complain about it, it's not going to make a difference. See everywhere else except RadioU that is all eventually wound up incorporating ads one way or another. But all that said, if there's going to have to be ads in video games, and I think we all should just probably accept that right now, I really wish it could be any other company than EA to try it first, because just don't trust them. Today's question: would you rather have Cheeto dust constantly on your fingers no matter what you do, or always have some popcorn stuck in your teeth? We have Thomas, who says, that's tough. I hate having things stuck in my teeth, though Cheeto dust would make a good snack, right? It would at least taste good. I'm with you on that, Thomas. I think that would be a possibility for an upside of always having Cheeto dust on your fingers, even though obviously there'd be a big inconvenience. Charles simply says, I'll take the permanent dust. Shrew says, popcorn. As much as I'd hate it, it would only affect me. The dust would get everywhere and in or on everything, and everyone around me would be affected by it. That's a good point. That's what I was thinking as well. Eric chimed in. Eric says, what would be even worse than having popcorn in your teeth? It's popcorn stuck at the kernel stuck in the back of your throat. That is so true. But he says, nevertheless, choosing the permanent Cheeto dust. And then Ryan says, as much as I hate popcorn in my teeth, permanent Cheeto dust would ruin everything in your life. Imagine what all of the handles in your house would be like. He says, I've got kids, so I know a thing or two about the trail dirty hands leave behind. That's a good point. But for all of you worried about the mess that Cheeto dust would make, and it would make a mess, Andrew has figured out a cheat code. Andrew says that you could have Cheeto dust because, again, makes a good snack, which, I mean, that would inarguably be a positive. You could just taste your fingers at any time, get the Cheeto dust flavor. That's a positive. But he says you could just wear gloves to cover up. Yes, problem solved, I think, from Andrew. And also Andrea chimed in. She said if you had popcorn in the wrong spot in your teeth, it could ruin all your pictures as well, which is a good point. So it sounds like the consensus seems to be Cheeto dust has the edge, particularly if you pop some gloves on. I think you could live a fairly happy life that way. Popcorn stuck in your teeth. I also think, too, nobody mentioned this, but like the popcorn, when you have popcorn stuck in your teeth, your tongue, like if something's off in your mouth, your tongue is always going to it. Maybe you would get used to it, but I can only imagine your tongue just constantly going to whatever that tooth is that has the popcorn in it. That would be a nightmare. So Cheeto dust, I think, has to be the way to go. Last night, the NFL released the entire schedule for the 2024 season. What's your top takeaway? You excited about how things shook out for your team? I mean, who wouldn't be, right? But I also have some more general takeaways. The top thing I noticed is that the NFL is still feeling like not putting any effort into Thursday Night Football, it seems. I was looking through. There is about one watchable game on Thursday Night Football before Halloween. So if you don't have an Amazon Prime subscription, I feel like you can just forget about that, hold off on that until Halloween, and then have it for the holidays and stuff. Because at the back end, there are some better games. But in the meantime, Thursday Night Football is still looking like you're going to get a lot of dog babies on Thursday Night Football. I will say, too, that the schedule release does confirm my suspicions that the Jets and Packers are both going to go 17-0. So looking forward to that. Memorial Day weekend coming up next weekend. So exciting. It's going to be great to have that extra day off. And Memorial Day weekend with it brings a lot of people taking little weekend trips, weekend getaways. This year, AAA estimates that we are going to get close to a record amount of people on the road. They're expecting about 44 million people to be taking road trips this weekend. So, yeah, expect a lot of traffic when you're heading out. But it does have me wondering, Memorial Day weekend kicks off the summer vacation season. And I'm going to open up the Hudson hotline for this.
877-2-RADIO-U.
Do you remember the very first vacation that you were in charge of? The first vacation, when you're growing up, obviously, probably your parents were planning everything, mostly dealing with all of that. But what was the first vacation that was your vacation, and how did it go? I want to know at 877-2-RADIO-U. Your very first vacation, and did it go smoothly? Was it as fun as you hoped? Let me know. Peter got in. He says the first real trip he took was with a ex-girlfriend. We went to Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm, Huntington Beach, and Newport Beach. He says it was an enjoyable trip. We kissed in all the pictures together, and we both really felt a sense of freedom since it was our first trip doing that. However, we bickered quite a lot over what to do and eat and what to see, and she had a couple of breakdowns for absolutely no reason. Vacations can be stressful, especially if it's your very first time. Susanna says, I think the first one I planned was our honeymoon. It went fine other than that I'd injured my knee the day before our wedding, and much of what I'd planned for the trip was walking and hiking. I guess that would put a damper on things. But where did you go? Need to know. 877-2-RADIO-U. For me, there's two trips that are debatable, because one was with my parents. But what my parents did was when any of us graduated high school that summer, we got to be kind of in charge of planning the trip. And so what I chose, some people will laugh at this, but what I chose is to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Cedar Point, both in Ohio, and also go to like swimming at Lake Erie. That was a pretty good time. And so but to say that's my first vacation is kind of the first vacation I was in charge of. Those are goofy. I feel like at least some of that feels like goofy things to pick, but the other one is similar. It also was in Ohio. Me and my buddy wanted to see as many baseball stadiums as we could. And so we went driving together to see the Pirates Stadium, which is in Pittsburgh, which is very nice. Not much to do in Pittsburgh, though, other than go see the Pirates play. And then to go to Cincinnati to see the Reds. So you had to get Ohio involved. And then we also saw, then we had a very long drive back to Maryland. And so we had to break it up by stopping at the Serpentine Mound somewhere in southern Ohio. So to say that to other people, like, what's the first trip you went on? Oh, I went to Disneyland. I went to Hawaii. I went to Ohio. But hey, we had fun. We're talking the very first vacation you ever took that you were in charge of planning. D says, I love this, a trip to see friends in BC, Canada. Yes, Canada. When I flew into Vancouver, there's an issue with the rental car, but instead I took the train and it was fun. So there you go. It turns around. You can't have a vacation without an issue, especially if it's your first time being in charge of things. But you can't go wrong, though, going to Vancouver. We also heard from Emmanuel, who says, when I was in college near DC, I got dirt cheap round trip tickets to fly to Fort Lauderdale and stayed in a $40 a night Airbnb. Very basic, but it was fun. That sounds like a good time. And then J-Rod says, first of all, Ohio, an underrated vacation destination state. That is true. You just have to drive through a lot of uninteresting parts to get to the interesting parts. And he says, the only vacations that I've gone on that I planned were to Gen Con and Origins Game Fair conventions. J-Rod, I'm going to be real with you here. I have no idea what you're talking about. Susanna says, by the way, her honeymoon that she planned was to a cabin in remote eastern Ohio and then on to Pittsburgh. What is it about Pittsburgh on this show? That's not a good vacation city. We should both know better, Susanna and I. The debate has been settled. A burrito is a sandwich. It's true. In Indiana, a judge has ordered that burritos and tacos qualify as Mexican-style sandwiches. The somewhat complicated reasoning behind this whole case is there's a strip mall where the agreement with the strip mall was when they opened it that there would be no traditional fast food restaurants that would open in the strip mall, but sandwich shops could open up like Jimmy John's or Subway. So then when a Mexican restaurant wanted to open up there, then launched the debate, is it actually allowed? The judge decided, yes, it is allowed because it is a sandwich shop. Although going by the facts of this case, does that mean that like hamburgers aren't sandwiches? Because that's clearly wrong. Even more so, Arby's wasn't allowed to open here. So roast beef sandwiches aren't sandwiches? I'm actually more confused. Thought this was interesting. Apple TV Plus trying to change how actors and other people involved in making shows and movies get paid. Right now, the way it works, right, is that all the contracts are negotiated ahead of time before anything actually gets made. You decide how much you're going to get paid before anybody makes anything. But Apple TV Plus wants to do it different. They want to pay actors and others involved based off of how many people watch, which I don't know. I feel like that is a good way to get a lot of very generic things made because I don't know. I feel like actors, maybe they'd still take some chances on stuff that like, hey, no, not a lot of people want to watch this, probably, but I'll still do it because it's something important to me. But I feel like that you'd see even more people just looking for that payday, trying to make, we know what gets watched the most on Netflix. It's Adam Sandler stuff. People making more Adam Sandler style movies, which I don't know, maybe more people taking a crack at that. We might get some more actually good ones. Are you like me? Do you think, yeah, I want to lose weight. I'd like to shed some pounds. But then when it comes down to it, a lot of times you just lack the motivation. When there's a bag of Cheetos in front of you, it gets all that much more difficult. Well, a new study done out of Scotland may have found the top ways to make sure that you stay motivated to lose weight. And it's two things. It's one, having somebody send you motivational text messages throughout your weight loss journey. They had a bunch of guys where they sent the guys text messages, giving them, motivation, giving them resources, stuff like that. And that worked really well. The other thing was money, saying if you meet your weight loss goals, you will get paid the most at the end of this study. So if you want to lose weight, all you need is a friend to text you motivational stuff and also pay you. We're in the midst of useless knowledge since it is International Astronomy Day this weekend. We're doing some astronomy useless knowledge. Today's question of the day is, what does space smell like? A lot of good guesses coming in at 8772 RadioU. Some saying melted plastic, mold. Also see coffee. Many people saying nothing. Those are all incorrect. But we did get some people that got it right, including Josh. We'll give it to you. Josh said rocket exhaust. Susanna said burnt meat, gunpowder, and hot metal. We'll say Pretty darn close. The answer I have here is astronauts have described it as hot metal, diesel fumes, and barbecue. That's how you know aliens are real, because why else would it smell like barbecue? The aliens, wherever they're smoking some meat. Is what it sounds like to me. Hey, since it's International Astronomy Day this weekend, do you care that there's another International Astronomy Day coming up? Did I just say International Astronomy Day coming up later this year as well? There's two every year. The other one is in October. The holiday's so nice, we celebrate it twice. Coming soon from McDonald's, they're adding something new to the menu. It kicks off on Tuesday, a brand new McFlurry. They call it the Grandma McFlurry. What makes it Grandma? The Grandma McFlurry is supposed to have a blend of syrup and crunchy candy pieces. They say reminiscent of those beloved treats she always kept in her purse. So it's not an official collab with Werther's Originals, but I think that's what they're getting at there, which, can I say in defense of grandmas, sometimes grandmas have much better candy than that. And let's just say this, not all grandmas are constantly keeping the Werther's Originals around. Although, I guess if you're going on like some of the worst stereotypes, if you're ranking them, grandmas carrying Werther's Originals, that's not that bad in the scheme. Like, there's much worse stereotypes you could have about you. So the Grandma McFlurry, that's what sets it apart. And no matter what you call your grandma, you won't be able to get this at McDonald's because their McFlurry machine will be broken, I'm sure. But it's supposed to start coming up this Tuesday, if that sounds good to you. Get your popcorn ready. It's the weekend watch list on the Hudson Show on RadioU, letting you know what's new in theaters and at home for you to be watching this weekend. And buckle up because we've got a lot to plow through here. 4 new movies we're going to try to hit. We'll start with If. After discovering she can see everyone's imaginary friends, a girl embarks on a magical adventure to reconnect forgotten ifs with their kids. If is now in theaters. That's the new movie with Ryan Reynolds and Steve Carell, directed by John Krasinski, Jim from The Office. The reviews for this one, not exactly particularly great. 58% on Rotten Tomatoes. Jeffrey Harris of 411 Mania puts it this way. If has its heart in the right place, but the story never works to the full potential of its premise. It's a little disappointing. I had high hopes for If, but I'll hold out judgment until I actually see it one day. There's also Back to Black. Singer Amy Winehouse's tumultuous relationship with Blake Fielder Civil inspires her to write and record the groundbreaking album Back to Black. And that one has even worse reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, 36%. And reading some of them, they do not make it sound particularly great. May Abdelbaki from Screen Rant says, Back to Black is the worst type of biopic. One that made me feel little and offers next to nothing truly personal about the singer or her inner life. Oof. So maybe that's one to skip as well. What about The Strangers Chapter 1? After their car breaks down in an eerie small town, a young couple is forced to spend the night in a remote cabin. Panic ensues as they are terrorized by 3 masked strangers who strike with no mercy and seemingly no motive. You thought the reviews for the other ones were bad? This one has a 22% on Rotten Tomatoes. And Valerie Complex of Deadline Hollywood says, The Strangers Chapter 1 is everything wrong with the horror genre. Couldn't get much worse. So your last option, new on Netflix, Thelma the Unicorn. Thelma is a small-time pony who dreams of becoming a glamorous music star. In a pink and glitter-filled moment of fate, Thelma is transformed into a unicorn and instantly rises to global stardom. However, this new life of fame comes at a cost. Thelma the Unicorn now on Netflix. That's from Jared Hess with John Heder as well, the people who made Napoleon Dynamite, but it is a cartoon, just to be clear. This one's score on Rotten Tomatoes, it doesn't have one. It has barely any reviews at all. So it can't have worse reviews than The Strangers Chapter 1. So let me know what you watch this weekend. If any of those options tickle your fancy, or if you watch something else, 8772 Radio U. We'll see you at the movies. You ever do this? Do you ever, I guess it's called window shopping? You spend more time looking at stuff that you want to buy than actually buying it. Like for me, I don't know what the word for it would be because it's not window shopping because it's online. when I just scroll through. It's clothes. It's usually clothes. You spend more time looking at the clothes that you think you want to buy than ever actually buying the clothes themselves. And I do that for a lot of things where the idea of getting something is much better. It feels much better. Thinking about buying the clothes feels much better than once you buy the clothes and actually wear them. And where else does that happen in life? I think for a lot of us, relationships, like the idea when you're single of, oh, maybe the relationship with that person, that's all I want. And then how many times have we gotten that relationship and it turns eventually sideways? You realize it wasn't all it's cracked up to be. I can't wait to buy this new car. You get the car, and of course the car starts having issues. You have to take it into the shop. And there's just endless scenarios in life where wanting the thing actually feels much better than once you have the thing. So how can you combat this? I think sometimes, well, I guess there's two ways to go about it. One, you could just constantly want stuff, which is kind of fun, but then at the same time, everything is always just out of reach. There's another way you can tackle it though, and that's a relationship with Jesus, because Jesus is the one thing that can fill that void in your life where you're feeling like, I'm constantly wanting stuff, which feels good, but it's not quite enough. Jesus is always enough. Jesus is going to be there for you and be enough for you so that you never have to feel that sense of dissatisfaction, the sense of getting the thing and then the rug pulled out from under you. God is always enough for you. Replace the wanting for something with actually having something that's all it's cracked up to be. Experience what Jesus is like. Start talking to him. You can do it anywhere. Say, hey, God, I want to find out what this actually means. Show me. And he will. If you want to know more, RadioU.com/free gift. We're in a presidential election year, and it's not enough to simply vote for your candidate, not enough to cheer for them at the debates and to get their bumper sticker. No, you also need to smell your favorite candidate, which is why it's great that the Hotel Collection is putting out a candle for each of the two major presidential candidates that you can actually buy. It even has their picture on it and everything. You might be wondering, what do they smell like? Donald Trump's smells like oud wood, whatever that is, leather and sandalwood. President Biden smells like aloe vera, cedar, and white tea, which is definitely not what I was expecting. I was thinking fake tanner and Bengay. So this sounds better than that. Have you experienced this? Many iPhone users are claiming that a recent update to their phone has resurrected old photos that were deleted, at least they thought, months, maybe even years ago, which is obviously strange. It's particularly problematic because many users are saying that it's bringing back old nude photos that they had from long ago that they thought had been deleted. And not only is it bringing them back into their picture roll, it's actually putting them up near the top as if they're new pictures. So this leads to a couple of major concerns. One, you thought you deleted these. Apple's been holding on to them this entire time. So that's a little reminder about our digital privacy and how we don't have any. Also, can we shed a tear here for the many relationships that you just know are not coming back from this, no matter what the explanation is. This is sad for them. But NayNay, the NFL schedule is out now. What do you take away, the top thing you take away from the NFL schedule release?
How bad the Dallas Cowboys fumbled the bag at their schedule release video.
Do
you see it? Here's what they did. First off, the video was a completely vertical video, which is fine.
Yeah.
But like the whole idea of it was they were FaceTiming different celebrities that were fans of the teams that were on the Cowboys schedule.
Yeah.
And as soon as the FaceTime call would open up and you would see the celebrity's face, the celebrity would see on our end just Jerry Jones, the Cowboys mascot Rowdy, Post Malone, Dak Prescott, and then Tim the Tap Man from, listen. And then I had a couple cheerleaders there. They were all just sitting there. Not a single one of them would say a word. And you would just see their reaction. It was terrible. Like,
why would all the celebrities agree to that?
Can I be honest with you? I don't know, man. Like, the one with Stephen A. Smith 2 years ago was phenomenal. The one 3 years ago with Post Malone was way better than this one with Post Malone. And then the one last year, honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it was still really good where they incorporated Yellowstone into it. So the TV show, if you're a fan of that TV show, they basically had tryouts for the Yellowstone TV show. And what they did is they brought all the Cowboys players on to audition to be on the show. It was really cool. But this year it sucked.
So you usually like the Cowboys ones. I watched the Packers one for a while.
What did they do?
I got bored of it. They had just a bunch of like fans of the Packers that were like brought in as, I don't know, they were auditioning for something. I don't know. It was boring. It's too long. It's too long. I watched the one that everybody seemed to like, and that's the Chargers one. And okay. I gave up on that one too. I'm bored. I don't like the schedule release videos.
Wasn't the Chargers one like it was the schedule release, but Sims related, like the Sims video game? So they just like had a bunch of different Sims wearing like certain jerseys of the teams. The
Chiefs, they had like Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce run off on a plane or whatever. It's like, yeah, real funny. Yeah, I don't like them. I just don't like them in general, though.
Here's what I thought the best one was, in my opinion. And this team did the same exact thing last year. And honestly, I thought it was still really good. The Tennessee Titans, I thought, had the best video. Here's what they did. They had a girl go out into the streets of Nashville, I think is where it was, and they had like the logos of all the teams that they were going to be playing this upcoming season. Mm-hmm. And they asked random people, what team is that? What's the first person you think of or the first thing you think of when you see that logo?
Yeah.
And basically they had all of their reactions. So like one of them I thought was really funny is this one girl, you could tell she was in some sort of bachelorette party. She was like, oh, that's Dak Prescott. That's the Dallas Cowboys. And then the next scene, it immediately switched to showing the team and when they would be playing it. And it wasn't even the Cowboys. It was the Colts. This girl saw the Colts logo and thought it was the Dallas Cowboys.
Dang,
I was like, that's crazy.
That is pretty good.
It was a really good schedule release video. I thought that one was my favorite.
That's funny. That's probably going to be like the highlight of the Titans season.
Yep, probably.
Well, I have here for everybody, you just want to run through your schedule for the Cowboys this year?
Let's run through the Cowboys. But I'm going to tell you right now what games we're going to win and what games we're going to lose.
All right, week 1 at the Browns.
At the Browns. Yeah. I actually want to be there for that game. That's a W.
For the Browns.
No.
Saints, Cowboys home versus the Saints. Their home opener.
Home opener versus the Saints. We're starting the season off 2-0. Let's go.
Yeah, the Saints suck. Week 3, you get the Ravens at home.
Okay, 2-1.
You get the Giants on the road. I think that's Thursday Night Football.
3-1,
yeah.
bro. We not losing to no Giants. The little pipsqueaks.
Why is the NFL doing this to us? Putting that on Thursday night, just so I don't have to subscribe to Prime, I guess. Then you play the Steelers on the road. 4-1. Let's go.
Damn, come on.
You have the Lions at home next.
4-2.
No, I'll give you that one. But maybe we agree. Maybe we'll both say 4-2. I just have you losing elsewhere.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the Lions are fraudulent. You go on the road to the 49ers.
Dude, don't do this to me, man. I don't want to have to.
Sunday Night Football.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, dude. Okay, so let's see. We're at
4-2.
4-2. Okay, we're gonna be 4-3.
Then you're on the road against the Falcons, Kirk Cousins.
Oh, 5-3.
Or maybe Michael
Let's
Penix
go. We're taking that W.
At home against the Eagles.
At home versus the Eagles?
Yeah.
I always split the Eagles games with us because we play them twice a year. I always give the Cowboys the edge on the one at home. Mm-hmm. So for this one, I'm going to say we're going to win that game. That'll be, what, 6-3? 6-3?
You know what? I've lost track of this.
6-3. 6-3.
Texans at home.
6-4.
Then you have the Commanders on the road.
7-4.
Jaden Daniels.
We're winning that one.
Giants at home.
8-4.
W.
Let's go.
The Bengals at home.
8-5.
8-5.
Yeah.
Then Panthers on the road. So a bye week.
What were we at? 8-6.
Well, you have
hang on, let's see.
3 other games past this point.
Hey, hold on.
Somebody should have been writing this down.
3, 4. I'm gonna say 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're at 8. 8-6 right now.
8-6.
Wait, 8-6? No, we're not.
This math isn't math.
Hang on. I can't count
because you have 3 other games, so that adds up.
1,
8-6,
2, 3, 4. Okay, no, we're at 8-4 right now. 8-4.
Well, you have the Buccaneers at home.
9-4.
The Eagles on the road.
I'm going to say
in the wintertime.
9-5 because we're going to be on the road for that one.
And then Commanders at home.
10-5. I missed a game.
Yeah, you definitely did.
I
think
missed something.
You should be. I'm
going to say 11-6 is going to be our final score. And the reason being is we have gone 12-5 the last 3 seasons in a row. Every single time the schedule comes out, every single one of you Cowboy haters always says, well, y'all only going to win like 7 games. And we win 12 games every year. Now, the possibility of us doing that for 4 years in a row is very unlikely. So I'm going to say we're going to lose 6 games instead of 5. We're going to go 11-6. We'll finish second in the NFC East, right behind the Philadelphia Fleagles. And then we'll probably nab the 5th seed in the NFC. We'll get a wild card. We'll have to play whoever's the number 4 seed, which is probably going to be the winner of that nasty old NFC South.
Yeah.
So we might be able to make it to the divisional round just to lose to whoever we meet there.
Yep. I'm glad you said it and I didn't even have to.
I'm just going to be really honest with you here. However, I'm not saying this couldn't be our year because every year could be anyone's year. So why not ours?
Let's take a look at the Packers schedule for the new season since it was just announced.
I've got the whole thing pulled up right here, and I'm just saying, I may be a Cowboys fan, but man, this ain't looking too good.
Not looking good for their opponents, I'll tell you
I think you
what.
should probably go through this entire list and tell me which ones you think are going to be losses, and then we'll just assume all the others are wins, and then we'll count them all up at the end.
I think that'd be the much quicker way to do it. And I'm a Packers fan, NayNay. I'm going to be objective about this. I'm going to be realistic. And I think I wanted just this to be fair. I don't want people to think I'm looking through Packers-colored glasses here.
Are you assuming that me as a Cowboys fan do the exact same thing?
I assume. Well, you were pretty fair. You did 11-6.
Thank you. I did. I had the Cowboys going 11-6.
Yeah, so that's pretty fair.
Here for the Packers schedule, week 1, you are going to go to Brazil, and you're going to be playing against the Philadelphia Eagles. Win or loss?
That's going to be a tough trip, but I think it's a win. Did you see the Eagles at the end of last year? You see the Eagles at the end of last year?
Stop, bro. No, there's no way. No way you... Okay, fine. All right. Then you go at home. Your home opener is going to be against the Colts from Indianapolis.
Obviously, that's a win for Green Bay.
All right. And then you...
All right, let's skip the Titans, Vikings, Rams. Let me just go till I think we find a loss, okay? Skip that one, skip that one, skip
Cardinals?
that one. That's
Texans.
Funny. Nope, skip that one. CJ Stroud's good, but come on.
No, dude, no way.
It's going to be
You don't think you're beating the Texans?
At home? They're not. The Texans, come on. They're a cute story, but come on.
Dude, I didn't even have the Cowboys beating the Texans, and I'm pretty sure we were playing at home.
Let me see here. We got the
Jags? The Lions.
Come on.
You're not even going to say you're going to lose to them once? Not even once.
We're not losing to the
Lions. You're 2-0 in the Lions?
The Lions are fraudulent. I told you this. I've told you this.
Hudson, you said you were going to be real.
I'm being realistic. NayNay, we are going to lose to, who do you lose to? You lose to teams that are better than you. We haven't found a team that's better than us yet.
The 49ers. All right, dude, that's an L. Stop.
The 49ers. The 49ers are going on the road. You think they're going to come to Green Bay? You think Brock Purdy is going to be able to throw it's going to be snowing.
You're trolling.
His arm is going to fall off.
Okay, you're actually trolling.
No, I'm not.
I'm pretty sure you're trolling now at this point.
I'm looking. We have 6 games we haven't gotten to, and Green Bay's going to win them all. Yeah, I think I'm being pretty objective when I say 17-0.
So he's not being serious.
I think that's pretty realistic.
I'm looking at this schedule right now. Y'all losing to the Eagles week 1. Y'all losing to the Texans. Yes, I hate I can't stand the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll have them Anyway, the Eagles lost. Texans loss. You know what? I'll be nice. I'll give you 1 of the Lions wins, but you're losing the other one. 49ers loss. Seahawks loss. Saints.
Why do you like the Seahawks so much? The Saints? What are you talking about? The Saints are going to be 9-8 if lucky.
You're at 5 losses right now. I'm gonna throw another loss. The Rams? 6 losses.
All right,
that's 6 L's right there.
If you want to be a negative Nancy,
Nancy,
6 losses. If you want to really take like the absolute floor of the Packers season, 6 losses.
You
I'll
know,
accept
if
that.
I was a Cowboys fan and I said I would, actually, I did say we were getting 6 losses. I bet you I'm going to get crucified for saying that.
Well,
and
they're not that good.
We've gone 12-5 the last 3 seasons in a row. How's that not good?
Listen, the Packers might lose 6 or 7 games if Jordan Love falls in a ditch and breaks both of his arms. Other than that, we're going to the Super Bowl. Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.